Tempest were either late or just left him to die. And leaving him to die is okay if you get and the proportionate amount of advantages on the other side of the map, but they failed to do that, not even once. So I really want to see Tempest take a different approach to dealing with the mismatch.
Yeah, sometimes if that keep on happening, putting a higher priority onto your solo lane in the draft works okay, but when you're against a very strong team like the MVP Black, who is God in Ben picks, one of the most strong teams in Korea who can do the drafting, you know, that's the biggest problem the Tempest is having right now. But here goes game number 3. Will be Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yet another map in which the solo lane is pretty important.
That's right, but this time, because the lanes are not too far apart, I think, and this is also the only map that Korea had few ETCs played on. I believe 3 or maybe 4. So maybe we'll see Sign on ETC once more if they go double tank, just like in game 2.
While the topic is on ETCs, I wanted to talk about how interesting the stylistic difference is between Sign and TTSST, which are the two teams' tanks in this matchup, because Sign models his play essentially after the 2016 version of himself. He's extremely aggressive, always looks for the picks, very vision-centric, whereas TTSST is very close to actually how Fnatic Breeze plays ETC. So he's more of an aggro, juggling, creating space for his teammates rather than trying to get a huge pick off. But
that's right.
So this first pick, Maltheo, coming out from Tempest is quite unexpected. The Tassadar Stitch's response is somewhat standard and definitely what MVP Black has stuck to in the past, but this Maltheo first pick, it seems like Hepari asked for it.
Yeah, it seems like they actually listened to what we said and just adjusted into it. And of course, this will give a lot more power away from Rich, give it to H82. But at the same time, you have to look into the further draft, and we'll talk a little bit more. Because of that, Black got the perfect 2 picks they wanted. They got Tastar, they got Stitches on the perfect map. They will be looking for those Hook and Tist from what we've been seeing from the first 3 weeks. Has been pretty good on those cues.
I'm pretty happy about this Maltheo pick, not because I think it's suddenly going to make H82 win the solo lane. That's probably not going to happen, but what will happen is that this is his comfort pick. Maltheo is a hero that he's absurdly confident on. Even Rich said that he first picked up Maltheo by looking at H82's Twitch streams playing Maltheo.
That's right.
It's going to give a boost to his morale, which is definitely something Tempest needs at this moment. And the Anubarak Greymane pick, very standard. I like it.
Very standard as it is, but they still need a very good support with Ariel, Uther, and Malfurion. Okay, we're going to see the full support choke here, as Tesla is already picked up from Black. If they want to go standard, they can pick up Rehgar just like in game number 1 Tempest actually, and provide that camp timing, and also having the Central onto Stitches this time will be the perfect one.
What about Brightwing?
Ooh!
Brightwing sort of chains well with the Stitches.
That's right,
hook.
and Tempest also did bring Brightwing in BOE last time.
And the AoE heal, not too bad against Maltheo's AoE damage over time.
That's right. That's also something to take in mind for Black, and also Tempest, I think. Maybe they are the one actually looking towards the play Brightwing in here. As Black, oftentimes they were looking for the dive, and Emerald Wind sometimes were very effective against the dives.
So I think they might be willing to go for the Rehgar, as you said, but Cassia is somewhat unexpected, no?
Bringing those blinds against Maltheo and Greymane to cancel that burst damage when Greymane dives in. And Cassia will be poking. There's so much harass actually from Black, from Tempest, from turning those gems in. There's the hooks, there's our pokes, the Tastar storms. Ooh, they will be harassing so much.
And Tempest, a lot of things they could go for here. The very Tempest thing to do would be to pick Gleaming Probably because Lockdown...
Chromie!
I was going to say that Lockdown probably doesn't feel that confident on Chromie anymore because the more advantageous pick on this map is Chromie, but Lockdown tends to feel very discouraged after having a bad performance on a certain hero.
That's right, in game number 2. And also Hyde's Karazim coming back into play. Ooh.
So I can definitely agree with the Karazim. Their continent support choke here and his solo support Karazim is something that Tempest has always played around with very well. But
here comes Rich's Medivh! I like this pick.
Oh god. It's going to be huge. And the Medivh Stitches combo. Not something that we see too often in Korea,
right.
But if any team can do it, it's MVP Black.
Yes, I think they're considering it too. There's the Medivh from MVP Black, and there's last pick Chromie from Tempest. Let's see which mage ends up better in game number 3. This could be the last game of the series if MVP Black takes it. That will be the end with 3-up, but Tempest, can they start a comeback here? Let's find out in not Towers of Doom, Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 3. In blue, MVP Black. Reset on Cassia, Sake on Tastar, Kyocha on Rehgar, Rich on Medivh, Tist on Stitches.
And in the red, we see Tempest with Hyde on Karazim, Honkano on Greymane, Lockdown on Chromie, Sign on Nubarak, and H82 on Malthael.
Okay, Stitches solo tank, but with the protection from Medivh will, of course, cancel a lot of the damage. And if Rich can perfectly, there's a hook onto Karazim for now. Not too much damage, as I will continue resuming what I was saying. If Rich can actually provide the protection, the Force of Will onto the perfect target when Greymane dives in, that's going to cancel so much damage.
Definitely. And we see Sake taking the auto attack talent on level 1, so stylistic difference from Lockdown being observed here.
Okay, oftentimes, and there's the MVP Black and Miracle way of going. There's a protection onto himself. Rich, can he find the portal? He is harassing him. Oh! That was so close. I do not even see an HP left there.
Oh,
see, look at Medivh right now. Yeah, now you see one, but that was a close call.
Yeah. Rich has to be feeling lucky about that one.
I'm pretty sure that was calculated. It's Rich.
If you think about it, if Chromie had taken the Q damage stacking talent on level 1, Chromie landed a few shots at level 1, so it would have killed Medivh.
That's
so
right.
Is it the wrong talent choice?
Let's hold on to that. I don't think Q build is the right one to go for now.
Oh, but Lockdown's Qs are on fire this game.
Yeah, he's on fire, and seems like 5-minute break was enough for him to actually bring everything back onto himself. Same build, the auto attack build. We'll see the talent coming out from Chromie, but Rich, he's the man. And Reset actually gets caught, but here's the portal coming out from Rich, saving him perfectly. And Stitches will be looking for those hooks. Onto Nubarak, does have the dive available.
That's also so frustrating.
It's really, when you think you have the chance, the portal comes around from nowhere and saves the teammate. And when you think you have the kill, there's a protection onto the target. It's very annoying. That's one of the things, but later in the damage, when the Master's Touch is completed, the Q does so much damage too. So you really have to catch Rich, and that sounds pretty hard. And here's a small team fight. The big blind onto 3 targets. Hook does miss.
To be honest, there isn't any burst damage on the side of MVP Black, so, well, at least until now. So, even if a hook lands, it's difficult to see anything immediate happening. It's just about exchanging damage and staying a slight bit ahead in the early game rotations, and so far both teams are performing up to par. Almost equal gems on each side, although MVP Black has much more of them turned in.
that would be the power of all the pokes, the ranged attack that Black has right now. Tempest, because Marthael is also melee, Chromie does have somewhat of a cooldown. The Q, of course, less of a cooldown, but on the W with more range, I think it's very tough to actually hit all the targets. And oftentimes you'll find if Honkono's missing.
Oh
from,
no! Oh no!
Oh, Gyocha will be coming in and
Free camp?
ooh,
Free camp.
thanks for camping for
Or
me.
is it?
But Tempest is coming in. Cassia dives in. Honkono actually not going back, coming in to help the team, but Hyde will get hooked, get picked off. The first kill goes to MVP Black. They're looking for more.
That wasn't the worst call to go for the siege camp, but it was pretty telegraphed, I think, and MVP Black were quick enough to deal with it.
I think Tempest, what they were thinking at the moment, because they were focusing on turning things in, maybe they could have caught MVP Black off guard, but their sense of smell is crazy.
Sense of smell.
They can smell everything that's happening in the map.
Well, I mean, they have a Rhaegar on the team. So
Yeah, they do have Rhaegar, and Rhaegar came in for the right dive.
yeah, so Wolves have good sense of smell.
Yep, and of course we always mention having all those gems, even though you're holding 100, 200, 5,000, it doesn't matter until you turn it in. If you cannot turn anything in, it just gives you more pressure, because if you die, you drop that much.
To be a Killjoy, you can't have more than 100 gems on a single game.
Yes, I know.
Except for on the Lost Vikings, which you can have 300 on.
Oh, that's a good news. But not now for Tempest, as they're falling behind already. Almost a 2-level gap here. As
That was a good segue.
this is the kind of lane swap that we've been seeing MVP Black having the range against the Marthael, which is super hard. Of course, Marthael, you can punish if you land on those skill shots and go in with the W, but you're against Socket Tastar with the shift available, and that's gonna make it so much harder for H82. Even if he got the comfortable hero on himself, it doesn't even matter.
And something that we were going to talk about in the draft phase was Tempest's relative lack of wave clear, and that's hurt them severely here. But a team fight.
H82 does not do any damage and gets taken out. Honkono's the second one. Seems like the hook onto Lockdown is perfectly done. Oh my. But Hyde and Sign, they were holding, I think they were the two holding the most gems. So at least they survived, but right after that, the perfect call going for the core, because they had 10 against level 7 with 3 members down.
Yeah, this is looking to be another step.
It's very sad, because there's no gorge. Means we'll not see the portal coming out. It seems like that's not even needed at this point. That will actually give Tempest more options to combat, because they have to put all the resources into one target. Seems like that's not even needed. The Bile, perfect choice.
I definitely agree with you that the Bile is the perfect choice, and to go back to my previous point, the lack of wave clear on Tempest's side really made it so that, oh wow.
And Rich.
Perfectly placed.
Oh, Sign does not get the impale, and Switch comes back for more stacks. He wants more stacks, guys.
That's serious BM going down right there.
My goodness.
And do they have enough damage to take down this boss before it takes down the Keep?
Ooh, and Greymane, because Greymane is missing right now, they need more damage coming in. Hyde is probably doing the most damage to the boss. They got the Keep 7 minutes in, 11-9, 4 kills to 0. MVP Black seems like they want to finish this series and go home.
Perfect execution. With their first turn-in, with their first set of Web Reavers, they took down 2 forts, extended their half-level lead into a 2-level lead. Then Tempest, fearing that MVP Black will hit level 10 soon, really hastily tried to go for a 9-line versus 7 team fight, but it didn't pan out so well.
Yeah, of course. Chromie, at least Chromie has the sands, but
yeah.
You need, I think,
that should be helpful.
the support choke has been really painful for Tempest to bring out Kerosene. It does have a lot of DPS coming in, but against this super powerful with lots of harassment onto the other side. I think Black, starting from the draft, because they first picked Marthael, the melee against all the range, all the hooks available onto the other side of Black. I think they really smartly outdrafted Tempest in game number 3 also. And so far, Lockdown has been hitting a lot of those great skill shots, but no kills.
And if you think about it, oh wow.
There's a Konton Kono, some damage, and Saki has been harassing from the side. Not much of a follow-up. Saki with protection will just shift away. And meanwhile, the sport is going down along with the pushes coming out from the top and the mid lane.
Tempest aren't sure if they want to team fight, but MVP Black do.
There's the Biotus for the damage, and Martheo seems like he can't do too much damage with the blind. There's an early palm, does connect at the very end, but he will be alone. Ooh, and Cesaro does not connect onto Medivh. There's a kill. Hook onto H82. Seems like that's enough. 1-for-1 trade. I'd say that's an okay one for Tempest right now. But
it's an okay one, but
it's an okay one, but the Web Weavers are pushing in all lanes, and the top one's going straight to the core. Ooh.
All in all, Tempest aren't going to lose the game purely off of this, but that's only because the game was already halfway lost. And they probably will be able to defend both keeps out of this one. But now they're sitting at a 3-level disadvantage with no feasible way of getting back into this game, save for a very lucky pick. Although, Lockdown's Chromie is still very much on point this game, so some miracles could happen. But with a Medivh, but with a Tassadar, with a Rigar, are you going to get through all those kinds of protection?
And also, we just saw from that team, there's a hook onto Chromie again. Are they going to save, or are they going to leave Chromie behind? Seems like they were coming for the save.
But they don't have any choice. Chromie falls
for the time being, but really tough. And notice all the blinds that Reset is doing only against Martheo, only against H82. When he dives in, if he's blinded, he cannot
apply the mark, yeah.
He can apply the mark, which means he cannot get the rip, he cannot sustain himself. That's what we just saw from the team fight. He was blinded, and of course his heroic can mark, but if he cannot do any damage with his melee coming in.
Oh, signs.
I think it was a predicted path, but Rich, as Medivh himself, oh, look at that. He does not even have to go back because he has the portal onto himself.
In some ways, we can't really fault Sign because getting a good pick is the only way that Tempest comes back into this game. But on the other hand, if you're going to dash forward into the outermost enemy hero every single time your E is on cooldown, then it's so exploitable, and you're not going to take MVP Black off guard through doing something that predictable.
Oh my.
Tempest are going to hit level 13 a bit faster than MVP Black are going to hit 16, so they're going to probably look for another forced team fight here.
Bio already popped though. That's one good news for Tempest, and they are pressuring a little bit more. And they're holding 112 gems right now, but just cannot control this.
Oh.
And Sign's looking for but there's a harass coming out from Rich. He cannot turn in. There's a hook onto Sign. His hooks has been so good today. There's a multiple. There's a lightning ball going around doing tons of damage. H82 is basically out of the fight already.
And that may have been an equal exchange in terms of damage, but now Tempest have no chance to engage on an equal talent tier. MVP Black moving on to level 16 with a massive wave of minions knocking at their keep. And with 2 gems away until the next turn in, MVP Black will probably be able to get in their 3rd set of Web Reapers very soon.
And they actually have to protect this keep too, because this keep is getting a lot of damage, about 60% left, but look at the harass coming out and the HP bars. So much protection coming out from Black that their health is all safe and it's so healthy, but look at the health bars onto Tempest. Almost 20-30% down for everyone. Hyde is healing back up, but that's going to take a long time.
Sign will be looking to go in again.
There's a cocoon and insta-cancelled. Reset gets protected. Ancestral, he's saving. He comes back into the portal. Now turns everything around. The palm does connect, but hooks onto H82. Oh my goodness! What did we just watch?
That portal usage, mind-boggling.
That will be game, guys, and that teamwork is what we call MVP Black. and Tempest today. They were the weak team today, but we saw lots of potentials, and I really have to question Lockdown's Chromie pick. It has not been too effective in this series, and that will be GG, the end of the series, going to MVP Black 3-0.
Unbelievable performance coming out from the Kings of Korea, and today they protect their throne in wonderful fashion. Tempest looked like ragtag amateurs compared to MVP Black, and last week they were looking like de facto one of the strongest teams in Korea. So there's a massive gap between the top team and the second best team right now in HGC Korea, it seems.
Oh, look at Reset. Oh, looks so looking good there after a 3-0 win.
He has to be happy after that portal into Ancestral Healing, into portal back into massive DPS. Wow.
And I gotta say, MVP Black looks... Whenever they have their hands on the comfortable heroes, and oftentimes they do, it's because their potential and their power comes from the drafting. Their hero pool of each player, they've been playing the game for such a long time with that teamwork. The new roster, of course, did hurt them a little bit. I'd say a little bit in week 2 only, weekend 2, and then after that,
gelling,
and Kyocha on the new support seems pretty good. And Tempest today, and Chromie pick, of course, there were reasons I gotta say, but not getting the picks that they want to, it really costed them big.
I really think the Chromie pick was after game 1 they felt sort of lost. Then in the midst of game 2 draft, they realized that they sort of screwed up their draft, so they went for the Hail Mary Chromie, and Lockdown was feeling sort of okay on Chromie, so they used it again for game 3. It wasn't the worst pick, but it wasn't a good pick either. So Tempest's lack of advanced strategies when dealing with a losing solo lane, lack of flexibility when stuck in a bad part in the draft, a lot of weaknesses exposed today against one of the best teams in the world. And, you know, H82 has to feel very frustrated because
I think so.
By game 3, the team finally decided to let him have a really strong solo lane hero. Then what does Rich do? He picks Medivh. No solo lane for you.
And also Cassia to blind. And actually they lane swap to have oftentimes Sake going against the melee. That really hurt him big. But we're going to jump into the interview. Let's find out who it is from MVP Black.
오늘의 주인공 리셋 선수 축하드려요.
Congratulations, Reset, on your win.
예, 특히 이제 리치 선수와 리셋 선수 이 리쌍 듀오, 이 둘의 그 행보에 많은 분들이 좀 찬사를 보내주고
있거든요. Genji duo.
팬분들한테 인사 한번 해주신다면요.
And of course,
사실 오늘 많이 긴장하면서
say any words to the fans?
좀 준비한 것도 잘 됐고.
I think all the prep that we did worked out pretty great.
잘 보답한 것 같아요, 팬분들이.
And also towards the fan, I think our games really showed and paid them back from our performances.
확실하게 상대를 좀 찍어 누르는데 일조를 했는데 리셋 선수와 리치 선수 둘의 호흡은 좀 어때요?
And Reset and Rich, how's the teamwork and you guys?
뭐 월드 클래스? 그냥
I think we're just world class duo right now. Even against Fnatic, of course, I think we're on top.
이제 언젠가 여기서 블리즈컨 만나면 확실히
When you meet them on BlizzCon, you can beat them, right? Yes.
이런 거침없는 표현은 FF 때 배운 거죠. FF 방출되고 난 이후에 새로운
And of course, this all goes back to FF again.
그렇죠. 이 모든 게
What was it? Not Food Fighter. I keep on First Family. That's right. And the king on the right, who's the one, the father of all the FF members.
한 말씀 해주신다면요.
You want to have any shout-outs, words to King?
그때도 말했지만 역시 FF가 있었기에.
Well, because of FF, I think I'm here because of FF. Because FF existed back then.
사실 방출이라기보다는
I wasn't really kicked.
서로 좋은 차원에서.
I think it was all for the better. For everyone.
뭐 궁금한 거 없으세요? 오니까
You have any questions to Reset?
많이 궁금했는데 조금 전에 그 FF 발언에.
Well, I had lots of questions in my head, but after hearing FF, I lost all the questions.
네, 좀 질문을 좀 해보자면 사실 리치 리셋 이제 한 팀에 들어가면서 사실 이제 굉장히 좋은 그런 시너지를 내고 있어요.
With Rich and Reset, your synergy is really coming out in the
많이
team.
떠오르면서 기존의 그런 강자들 사케 교차.
So previous all those
약간 좀 거리를 덜 대고
powerhouses,
있거든요.
Kyocha and
그 세 선수가
Sake.
지금 해주는 역할들 이런 부분에 대해서는 어떻게 생각하세요?
Just how do you think the other
사실
three are doing it
저희가
in the team?
두 명이 떠오를 수밖에 없는 건 그래도 저희가 그래도 암살자인
Of course, as we are
하기
The
때문에
two assassins oftentimes,
약간 앞에 세 명의 존재감이 좀 묻히는 거라
and the
생각해요.
other
그래도
three does not really
저희
shine
앞에
too
세
much compared
명이
to us.
다 자기 제 역할을 각각 해주기
But they're
때문에
all doing their
저희가 그런
own role
플레이를
in
할
the
수
back
있는 거기
line.
때문에
네.
So that's
그
exactly
앞에
why we
세
can
명도
shine a
많이
little bit more.
주목해가지고 봐주셨으면 좋겠어요.
And I wish you guys keep your eyes on the other three, Sake, Kyocha, and Fist, because they're doing a fine job.
예, 그래서 좀 이렇게 3대 0으로 좀 이길 거다라는 그런 확신도 처음엔 좀 없었을 것
Did you
같아요.
have a?
사실
Did you know that you're gonna have a 3-0 today?
3대 0은 생각하고 있었어요. 어느 쪽이든.
I was
저희가-
thinking
아,
either way,
3대 0
either us or Tempest.
그래서 오늘 1경기가
I thought it was going to be
3-0 그 말씀이시고, 그런 이제 많은 팬분들이 블랙의 또 이제 해외 무대에서 전 세계 강팀들을 꺾는 모습을 기대를 많이 해주고 계시거든요.
A lot of people are
아끼고
expecting,
사랑을 해주신
anticipating
팬분들에게
for you guys to actually
말씀해
go out
사실 저번
to the global and
리
beat all the
시즌에서
other
좀 안
teams.
좋은 모습 보여드려가지고
Yeah, in the mid-season brawl,
죄송하고
we did not have the
그
best
이번
matches, as you guys know.
한 번 더 있잖아요.
네.
1등으로 가서
But there's BlizzCon left,
1등하는 모습 보여드리도록
and we will
하겠습니다.
go in with number one from Korea and also get the number one in
아바투르
BlizzCon.
인터뷰.
아바투르
제가
Here comes
지금
Avatar interview.
예.
With the Avatar hat on.
리사 선수
King.
온다고 해서 이게 준비한
그럼요.
그 이벤트예요. 여기서
네.
질문이 아까 전에 저희가 했던 것들은
네.
좀 비슷해요. 리치 선수의 그
아
전체적인
그럼요. 이제
호흡.
사실 리치 선수가 들어오면서 사실 이스턴 클래시 확정이잖아요.
네.
같이 이렇게 가게
Of course, with
됐는데 좀
this
어떨 것
result now
같으세요?
that you're going to
그
the
리치
Eastern
선수가
Clash.
합류한 이후에 이스턴 클래시의 행보.
사실 이스턴 클래시가 이번에 대만에서 열리잖아요.
네.
리치 선수랑은
Eastern Clash this time, it's
스네이크
happening
때
in Taiwan.
중국에서 같이 한번 합을
오.
맞춰봤잖아요.
오.
그래서 약간 저희는 약간 중국 대만 쪽에서 좀 더 플레이를 좀 더 잘해지는 그런
I think we
어.
can
네.
play
대만
better
음식은
in
어떨 것
China or
같습니까?
Taiwan
대만
actually.
글쎄요.
So I think it's gonna work out great.
알겠습니다.
맞지.
잠깐만요.
이것으로 아바투르 인터뷰를
네.
마치겠습니다.
와, 진짜
네.
이게 막
Screencasters are so weird.
누더기가 아바투를 잡아먹게 하는 느낌이에요.
아, 그래요?
예, 약간 그런
누더기 위에
느낌이라.
And it
공생체가
doesn't really
붙어 있는
fit.
거
아니,
맞죠?
아니 잡아먹어가지고
잡아먹어가지고.
머리부터 해서 입으로 소화되는
아,
느낌이에요.
알겠습니다.
예.
네.
자, 앞으로도 멋진 모습 기대하고요.
Oh, that
이번
was-
시즌 이스턴 클래시 나가서도 우승 기원하겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다.
네, 다시 한번
감사합니다.
축하드립니다.
Yeah, wish you best of luck in the Eastern Clash. Also reset. That's gonna be the interview of reset from MVP Black, and let's see the result.
So 3-0 victory for MVP Black, and this has to sting a lot for Tempest because remember, 4 members of Tempest have played on MVP before, and they are definitely on good terms with the individual players on both MVP teams. But you know, there's a reason why they left the organization, and knowing that it really has to sting, a feeling of personal defeat has to be there.
Yeah, and that was a big upset, I would say. I was looking towards a more longer series today, but it was a 3-0, but we're not done yet because there's MVP Miracle